Well, Chris, thanks so much for speaking to us today. Only a few days left until you head to the UK for this big one. What are your main emotions at the moment, a few days out?
Excited. I'm looking forward to it. It's good to be back in a big fight scenario and to a big stage. I've always wanted to fight over in the UK, so this is a dream come true. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. Just finishing up camp, a couple more hard sessions to go, and then we're off across the pond.
I was going to say, looking at your resume, you've really travelled outside the US. So what are you expecting from a fight night in Liverpool next Saturday?
We understand how the fights are when, over in the UK, that the fans really come out. Some of the best fans in the world. So it's going to be electric in there, I'm sure, but nothing I'm not used to. I've been in big fights. When I won the title at the Barclays Center, it was, wild in there, wild. I mean, I sold $60,000 in tickets myself. So, we had a tremendous audience in there, and it was deafening. So, I'm looking forward to that. I've always been a guy who stepped up to the energy. So I'll just take it in stride as usual.
I spoke to Eddie Hearn once this fight was made, and he described it as a 50-50 fight against Conor Benn. What do you make of that?
I think he's wrong. I don't think it's that close. I think I should be the favorite for sure. It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. It's a big step up for them. I know Eddie. I saw Eddie on Saturday, and I know he's nervous about it. And I told him he should be. So that's my mindset. This whole camp.
Talk me through the last 2.5 years, because you had that 2-year hiatus. You got back into the ring in August. So what's it been like having relative inactivity, albeit considerable, considering the fact we've had the COVID and the pandemic and all that's brought with the sport?
Well, yeah, I mean, 2020 was a lost year. It was COVID, and like none of us were doing anything. I was doing a lot of commentating because Top Rank was using a lot of their up and coming guys to put fights together, and not at my level. It wasn't my level type guys, especially early on. But I got to work those shows. I got to see what was going on and kind of gauge how COVID was changing. And I think it was in August, I told my manager, I'm like, I'm not training for a fight that's going to get canceled. So we'll look at 2021. So I looked at 2021 as like, okay, I can fight at any time, so I'm going to get in shape. It was right after Thanksgiving of 2020. I went to training camp, and I was in shape all of 2021, getting ready for whatever was gonna materialize. We had a couple of things happen. Triller came in out of nowhere, and it was like, okay, we got a new promotion. Let's go see how that worked out. Obviously, hasn't been the smoothest of organizations so far, but we ended up getting the fight in, which was supposed to be May and then ended up being August. But whatever, it is what it is. We got the fight in. I got 10 rounds in with a very, very credible opponent. I looked good. I felt good, and pretty much right back into the mix.
And you talk about getting right back into the mix. Was that the thinking with taking on this fight against Conor Benn?
Well, after the last fight, we were supposed to fight in October. So I went right back into camp. I was sparring, I think 10 days after my fight in August. I was back in the gym, right to camp. And, we got a call for a potential fight in October. Okay, cool. Went right back into camp. Was training for that. That ended up falling through with all the changes with the Cambosis and the Teofimo and New York and all these different things. So took a few weeks off, and then, we got the call for this and was like, all right back in the camp. So I had told my manager after the fight with Pierre in August, I said, I felt good. I feel good. I threw almost 1,000 punches in a 10-round fight against a very good counterpuncher and a good tough guy, and dominated. And so I said, listen, I got 10 rounds in. I wanted another fight before the big ones, but I'm ready for one now. If something comes up, let's go.
Having been a world champion before, is that the main thing driving you now in these sparring sessions, in these long training sessions, in the pursuit of this fight against Conor Benn? Is that what you really want to do once again?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the goal. Always the goal. If I didn't see myself as a world champion, if I wasn't carrying myself as a world champion, that's why I call it the champion lifestyle, I wouldn't be here. I see myself as a champion. I will always be a champion. And, for me, working towards that is always the goal. But at the end of the day, I have already done that. And legacy is important. My legacy is important. And this is the kind of fight that can really elevate that and put me in the right position.
And when you look at the two of the dominant forces in that division at the moment, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. How far away do you think you are from that level, or do you think you are at that level? You just need to show it now.
Well, more likely than not, I'm going to go back down to 140 after I beat Ben. I'll go back down and look for titles at 140. So I can still make that, no problem. I was 142 my last fight. So it depends. I mean, if the opportunities come, they come. It depends where it is. It's good to be able to fight in either weight class. So, but for me, I mean, I'm undefeated at 140. I want to go back down there. I want another world title there.
I'm sure you're aware there's a huge amount of excitement around Conor Benn and what he's achieved already. Of course, the Benn legacy, the Benn name. What have you made of what you've seen from him so far?
Well, I think there's a lot of hype around what his father has achieved. He hasn't achieved all that much yet. So not saying that he won't. I think he's a very talented guy, and he's got a long career ahead of him. But yeah, I know. His career has been carefully curated up until this point, and they're pushing him to be something big, and that's fine. He can be something big after this fight, after I win. But he's young enough that he can bounce back. But I'm not part of his story. He's part of mine.
Do you think he's potentially made a mistake in taking you on? And also, I wanted to ask you about the age difference, the amount of experience you've got in this sport. How important do you think that will be in this fight?
The first question about the mistake. I mean, is it a mistake? You're fighting tough guys. You want tough fights. I think too many of these young fighters are trying to keep their O instead of trying to progress and fight real fights. I tip my hat to Conor Benn and his team that they're taking on a tough challenge. This is a real fight. It's a big step up. So yeah, I like his style. If he's going to go up and look for big fights, and I hope that continues after this, because I think too many of these guys out there are avoiding tough fights, and Ben's not doing that.
And in terms of the experience you've got, you're more than 10 years older than him. Do you see that being something that's crucial? Yes, he's got youth, but then you've got all the experience you've built up over the years.
Yeah, it's really how you slice it. It's like, all right, well, he's 12 years younger or 12 or 13 years younger, but I got 12 or 13 years more experience. And, experience, is very important in this game. So, it's like I said, it's how you slice it.
And what are you expecting from fight week? What do you think it will be like when you come head to head with Conor at that press conference next Thursday?
I mean, I like fight week. I always have. You saw me smile right away. Fight week is, I've been in big shows and big fights and with, dangerous opponents in front of me. He seems like a respectful guy. I'm a respectful guy. We're going out there to do our work. This is our job. This is how we pay the bills. This is how we feed our family. So yeah, fight week's fun, man. I'm excited for the energy. I'm excited to look my man in his eyes and go from there.
Before we finish, I wanted to ask you about the big fight that got announced yesterday, Amir against Kell Brook. What's your reaction to that fight finally being announced? I think for us as Brits, we thought it should have happened 5 years ago, but I guess better late than never. Yeah,
I like it. Why not? They're fighting, and unfortunately, boxing shoots itself in the foot often with fights like this, where the fights happen past where they really should have. But hey, it's still happening, and I think that's cool. Maybe they're both a little bit past their own prime, respect to both, but again, they're both there. So they're fighting each other, at whatever level they're at. And I think it makes it a very interesting fight. Yeah, I look forward to that. I like both of them. I'm a fan of both their styles. Obviously I've shared the ring with Amir. So yeah, good fight. Should be fun.
We're really struggling to pick a favorite at the moment and who's going to win that fight in February. I mean, from sharing the ring with Khan, from knowing so much about Brook, what are you saying? What would be your prediction at this stage?
Honestly, I can't, because they've both been out of the ring for so long. Amir with his blistering speed, Kell with his power. It's a really good matchup. I really, it always has been. It always has been, because that's not changed. Khan didn't lose his speed. Kell didn't lose his power. Both guys, have been stopped, have been damaged. So the chin is always an issue. Always a question, but they've both been out of the ring for so long. It's really who's going to be able to, tap into what they were like, what they were, what they are at their best, what their style is really about. I think is going to take that fight. Also, I got a question for you. What weight are they fighting at?
So they're going to fight at 149, and then
okay.
allegedly there's a rehydration clause whereby they can get up to 163.5. So we wait to see what shape they're in come the fight night itself.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think 49 is probably going to be tough for both of them to make. So again, even playing field.